Elon Musk is adopting a unique approach to space exploration and expects to contribute to the quest for something special on Venus via his rocket business, SpaceX, which aims to inhabit Mars with humans. Although Elon Musk has recently turned his attention to other planets, Mars has always been his main priority. As a result, a private space business dispatched a number of probes to study the world, and Elon Musk recently disclosed one of the terrifying new messages from the probes. What was found by the probe? Could there be life on the planet getting ready to swoop in and rule over us? Join us as we explore the horrifying new message announced by Elon Musk. Venus is the closest thing to Earth's twin in the solar system. Venus is about 0.81 times as much mass as Earth. It is around the same size as Earth. Compared to Earth's 6,378 kilometers, its radius is 6,052 kilometers. That implies that they have about the same density and consequently the same composition because their masses and sizes are so comparable. In contrast, they are utterly dissimilar in other respects. Venus's atmosphere of carbon dioxide has a pressure 95 times greater than that of Earth's atmosphere and a surface temperature close to 482 degrees Celsius, 900 degrees Fahrenheit. Venus has an uninhabitable wasteland as its surface and its clouds are sulfuric acid. Venus takes longer to complete one rotation on its axis than it does to complete one orbit around the Sun, with the longest rotation of any planet in the solar system at 243 Earth days, and the shortest orbital period of only 224.7 Earth days. Venus has a day that is longer than its entire year. The former Soviet Union has been striving to study Venus prior to Elon Musk's partnership with the New Zealand-based commercial space firm. As a result, they created and built numerous spacecraft at the beginning of the space age to study the atmosphere of Venus. This program was known as the Venera mission. In order to study Venus, the Soviet Union launched the Venera missions between 1961 and 1983, but only 13 of the 26 launched spacecraft made it there, and only 8 made it to the planet's surface safely. Despite numerous failed attempts, Venera 7 was the first probe to successfully land on Venus and transmit data from its surface. Built to enter the planet's atmosphere before deploying a parachute to slow its descent to the surface, Venera 7 made its landing on Venus in December 1970. Sadly, during the descent, the parachute failed and ripped, allowing the Venera 7 to fall freely for 29 minutes before landing with a loud thud upon the Venusian plain. However, 5 years later, Venera 9 and 10 landed on the planet's surface and captured a 180-degree panorama of the surface, proving that the Soviet Union had not given up on researching Venus. However, the Soviet Union later developed more space probes, and the Venera 14 provided exactly what they needed to see more of this planet's characteristics. The Soviet lander Venera 14 navigated the dense Venusian atmosphere in March 1982 using a parachute and air brakes. It also captured images of its surroundings, which depicted a vast expanse of barren terrain, flat rocks, and an empty sky in Phoebe Reggio near Venus's equator. After braving pressures 75 times greater than on Earth and temperatures of 450 degrees Celsius, the sturdy Venera spacecraft continued to function for almost an hour. The photos and digital processing of the Venera 14 spacecraft are still being done today, even though data from the spacecraft was transported across the inner solar system almost 40 years ago. There may be active volcanoes on the planet, according to a recent analysis of infrared readings taken by the ESA's Venus Express spacecraft when it was in orbit. These hypotheses about the planet's volcanoes turned out to be true as Elon Musk and the New Zealand team continued their quest. Venus contains the most volcanoes in the solar system, according to research and observations of the atmosphere of Venus. Among the 1,600 notable volcanoes that may be located worldwide, there are a great number more that are unknown. Volcanic activity has been a significant factor in the history of the globe, and a significant area of the world is covered in volcanic deposits that are around 200 million years old. For a variety of reasons, scientists are still debating whether there are any active volcanoes, but because of the planet's dense atmosphere, they were forced to rely on the radar of NASA's Magellan mission. Scientists from the Soviet Union created a revolutionary methodology in an effort to understand more about the volcanic deposit that may help to reveal Venus's volcanic activity's secrets. The technique combines radar data from the Magellan mission with geology maps of cooled lava flows from earlier eruptions, which gauge how microwave radiation interacts with and is emitted by the planet's surface. A number of Venusian surface regions have displayed various emittances that match various rock properties, providing details about the genesis of those rocks. In addition, a recent study suggests that radar emissivity may be used to gauge the extent of chemical weathering that lava flows undergo after eruption and contact with Venus's atmosphere. It may help in locating fresh lava flows because such weathering takes weeks or months to complete. Researchers compared the three Venusian volcanoes, Mart Mons, Ossa Mons, and Sapus Mons, using radar admittance measurements and geological mapping. These findings suggest that Mart Mons and some of the planet's lava flows are not as old as previously believed. The same method might be used going forward to examine Venus's volcanoes further with fresh Magellan data. Future Venus missions that will give higher resolution radar emissivity measurements, such as the ESA Vision mission and NASA's Venus Emissivity Radio Science INSAR Topography and Spectroscopy mission, may also need to use the methodology. However, Elon Musk directed the conduct of additional research. This approach was utilized by academics to investigate a volcanic peak on Venus that is 200 kilometers wide and 2.5 kilometers high. It is located in a region of southern Venus, notable for the highlands' abundance of volcanoes. It appears that there has been recent activity from the volcano based on the research's findings. According to previous research, the planet contains fewer cosmic impact craters than one might anticipate given the number of craters seen on other rocky planets in the solar system. Lava from these active volcanoes may have a role in maintaining Venus's clean surface, according to what researchers found with the Soviet Union spacecraft. The recent finding of phosphine gas on Venus, which some have hypothesized may be related to life on the hellish planet, could be further illuminated by a better understanding of the volcanic activities on that planet. Venus's atmosphere may include phosphine due to a previous volcanic eruption, or one that is now occurring. Finding regions on Venus that have potentially active volcanic material is crucial because of this. The discovery of phosphine gas led to the establishment of a privately funded mission to study Venus's atmosphere. The mission's goal is to determine whether or not the planet actually has phosphine and whether it can sustain life. Elon Musk is funding the mission. Elon Musk wasn't the only person in control of this mission, despite the fact that it was privately funded. The effort is also being led by researchers from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. The project is funded by the Breakthrough Foundation, which collaborates with the Elon Musk Foundation and SpaceX. Jewish-American scientist Sarah Seeger serves as the project's principal investigator. The Venus Life Finder missions would consist of a number of tests based on a probe sent to Venus to ascertain whether the planet harbors life. This hypothesis was sparked by the discovery of phosphine gas in Venus's atmosphere by a group of researchers led by Seeger. Since it is just gas, this kind of gas is not life, but phosphine is produced by anaerobic bacteria, which exist in conditions with low oxygen levels. It was exciting to make this finding since it demonstrated that life, albeit bacterial life, existed on other planets. But how is this feasible considering the planet's intense heat and other unfavorable circumstances? It is well known that Venus's surface cannot support life, but the cloud layer about 50 kilometers above the planet's surface can. It is comparable to Earth's lower atmosphere and may theoretically support microbial life. There is still some suspicion though, as some researchers now think that the notion was misconstrued and that the molecules might actually be sulfur dioxide, a chemical that is plentiful in the Venusian clouds. Before pursuing a phenomenon in science, researchers must be certain about it. It was therefore required to dispatch a probe to gather samples from the cloud deck. Although the mission cannot be accomplished on an interplanetary scale, Venus is a more likely candidate because it is closer to Earth. On an Electron rocket created by the California-based Rocket Lab in collaboration with Elon Musk's own space agency, their first mission is set to launch this year. This rocket would carry the probe through the clouds for just 3 minutes of its 5-month mission. The probe would be equipped with a specifically created laser instrument that would identify the intricate chemistry in the clouds to get the best findings. Additionally, the discovery of impurities or fluorescence would suggest that Venus's atmosphere is more complex than we now realize.